This is Brendan O'Connell and Thinking About a Genius on Thursdays. Today I'm thinking about another Frenchman, Paul Cezanne, who's known as the bridge between post-impressionism and cubism. Matisse and Picasso, I think Matisse said to Picasso, Cezanne is the father of us all. And there's a story of Picasso going down to visit Cezanne in the south of France and exclaimed that he was a genius and he was the father of modern painting. And Cezanne was not overly concerned with what this young man thought of him, and his reaction was more like, "Kid, I've got to get back to work. Thank you for your visit." Paul Cezanne's father was a banker, and he had a tumultuous relationship with him. But at the end, his father left him quite a bit of money, and he was able to retire to paint his whole life. And he had a very, very steady work ethic, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. And this is something I've always kind of admired about him. A quote that typifies that is, he said, "I could paint for 100 years, 1,000 years without stopping, and I would feel as if I knew nothing." And his work really had that sense. It was very much about process, the process of doing it, the process of the paint, the process of the brushstroke. And I think he made some comment like, every brushstroke has its own personality. Gauguin, who was an art collector and a stockbroker before becoming a painter, bought some of Cezanne's paintings so that he could copy his brushstrokes. And I always thought that was interesting. Towards the end of his life, Cezanne had diabetes and tumultuous relationships with family and close friends, and so he became more of a recluse. And he made the comment, "The painter must enclose himself within his work. He must respond not with words, but with paintings." And to me, this typifies him. You could take a painting of a subject matter simple like apples, and there was just something soulful about each apple. And if I were ever to steal a painting from a museum, I feel like I would go steal one of Cezanne's apples, because it's kind of the perfect painting to be able to just meditate on something. And another thing that he said, which rings true with all the work that I think of his, and how his genius is the ability to renew one's emotions in daily experience. And many of the Walmarts that I did, some were more content driven, but many of them that were process oriented, I feel indebted to Cezanne for this plainer approach of just kind of seeing what paint does and responding to what paint does. I hope you find him inspiring as I do.